Hello everyone, welcome to Achievers IAS classes. Let's begin our discussion on the current events of 13th February 2018. The first issue in news is regarding the questions raised by the Chief Justice of India on the logic behind having a criminal and corrupt person as the head of a political party. He further went on to say that having such an individual as the head of a political party is a huge blow to the purity of election process and against the prospect of democracy. Because an individual with criminal antecedents heading a political party can contest elections collectively through some of his agents, which he or she himself cannot do individually. In this regard, the court said a reform to ban convicted persons from becoming office bearers of political parties would be in consonance with its past judgments slamming corrupt politics. And in December last year, the Supreme Court agreed to examine whether the Election Commission should be empowered to deregister a political party on the ground that a convicted person has either formed it or is a crucial office bearer. Because presently, even a person who has been convicted of heinous crimes like murder, rape, money laundering, etc., can form a political party and become the party president, as Section 29A of the Representation of People Act allowed political organizations to get registered simply by conforming to the provisions of the Constitution. Hence, the petitioner sought to declare Article 29 of the Representation of People Act as arbitrary and irrational and authorize the Election Commission for registration and deregistration of political parties as suggested by the Goswami Committee. Because Section 29 of the RPA Act of 1951 had opened the doors for non-serious candidates from hosting their own political parties, leading to proliferation of political parties as it allows a small group of people to form a political party by making a very simple declaration. And presently, about only 20% of the registered political parties contest elections, and the remaining 80% of the parties create excessive load on the electoral system and public money. We will further look into the issue once the final verdict of the Supreme Court is out in public domain. Till then, let's move on to the next issue in news, which is an article putting forward various economic indicators highlighting robust economic growth. Industrial activity saw robust growth for the second consecutive month in December, with the index of industrial production growing at 7.07%, following a strong growth in the manufacturing, capital goods, and the consumer non-durable sectors. Adding to this, the consumer price index boosted the persistently high inflation in the food and fuel segments, although the retail inflation somewhat eased in the month of January. And finally, even though the growth in the consumer durable segment continued to be sluggish, it is still in the positive segment. All these indicators point out at the robustness of Indian economy, and we can expect a question on any of these indicators in the examination. Having said that, let's move on to the next issue, which is an editorial regarding the bad loan crisis in the banking sector. The editorial is highlighting the financial performance of India's largest lender, that is the State Bank of India, which for the first time in almost 19 years reported a quarterly loss. This follows an audit by the Reserve Bank of India, which showed a divergence in the classification of assets by the bank, which led to the increase in provisions in the last quarter. And most of these reclassified assets are linked to troubled projects in sectors including power and telecom. In this regard, SBI is not the only lender to have its assets forcibly reclassified by the RBI, but various private sector lenders have also been found guilty of hiding troubled assets. Towards this, it may be tempting to believe that last year's bankruptcy law reforms will soon begin to ease the pain of banks by encouraging the quick sale of assets of troubled borrowers, but the proceeds from such sales would likely amount to very little in comparison with the mammoth scale of troubled assets. Therefore, writing off these bad loans may be the most honest and practical way to deal with the bad loan problem, and RBI in the coming months should continue to push banks to promptly recognize these stressed loans on their balance sheets. The government has taken various steps to fix the problem of lax corporate governance in these banks, and also in its latest plan has put forward the idea of recapitalizing public sector banks, which according to the author may achieve little more than giving some temporary relief to the lenders for the sake of reviving credit growth in the country, and the bad loans problems is likely to remain a festering sore unless and until some meaningful structural reforms to the banking system are undertaken. With that, let's move on to the next issue, which is talking about a marginal increase of 0.21% in the area under forest, according to the recent India State of Forest report. The document says that India has about 21.53% of its geographical area under forests, which also includes substantial patches of trees outside areas designated as forests, such as plantations or greenlands, because it is the long standing goal of the government to bring at least 33% of its area under forest since 1988. The report further highlights that the states of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, and Kerala have posted an increase in the forest cover, and currently 15 states and union territories have 33% of the geographical area under the forests. It further highlights that the category of very dense forest, defined as a canopy cover over 70%, which is an indicator of the quality of forest, saw a dramatic rise, but the category of moderately dense forest has declined from the year 2015. An important point to remember from the prelims perspective is India is ranked 10th in the world with 24.4% of its area under forest and tree cover, even though it accounts for only 2.4% of the world's surface area and sustains the needs of 17% of the human population and 18% of the livestock population. With that, let's move on to the next issue, which is talking about the key takeaways of the Prime Minister visit to Oman following his visit to Jordan and UAE. India and Oman have agreed to isolate the sponsors of international terrorism, and both sides have acknowledged that there is an interlinkage between the stability of Gulf region and the Indian subcontinent. The two countries have various areas of cooperation, with Oman providing Indian aircraft with refueling capacities, while India provides training facilities for the Omani Royal Armed Forces. Adding to this, the recent MOUs signed in the areas of health, legal cooperation, tourism, etc., further deepen the bilateral relations between the two countries. Finally, Oman has also expressed its interest for its scientists to be trained in the Indian space research facilities. With that, I wrap up today's news analysis. Do like, share, and comment to support this initiative. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.